Hi, everybody. It's Jeff here. I'm just warning everybody I still got a cough because I'm coming out of a bronchitis, so I'm gonna probably cough from time to time. I'm sorry about that. That's the way it is. I don't do these videos now. I'll forget them. That's usually what happens to me. Um, this specific video is a follow-up on the comments made during Aurel Lommel's from CSA, his panel session on machine translation. I think it was the Lock Talk from SmartCat. Maybe it was something else. There are so many sessions I attend all the time, I can't keep track of it. And I don't think it was in my calendar. I had to find it somewhere. But during that session, one of the key things that Arl launched, and everyone in the session, Alon and Spence and Jay and Vincent, were all addressing was training data. Well, models, the models for the system models, and training data. And Spence said, basically, you got to get bigger models. But he said the training data is key because you got to train on good data, right? You can't train on crap data. Polluted data and stuff doesn't work. That's for after. You can do some tweaking, but but you have good data. And Spence, I really want to really, support that because I have created a lot of training data. When I was at Carnegie Mellon, we were creating our own data. We were creating tons of data, collecting and creating, but we were creating, and we curated it heavily, and we annotated it on top of it, annotated it for the several languages. I'm not going to say how we annotated it, but it was very well annotated. But when we gave away the Haitian Creole stuff, 1/3 of the data I could ethically give away based on IP kind of constraints, I stripped all the annotations out. So what we gave away is the unannotated stuff, right? So we jumbled it all up. So people lost all the way to assemble it in a way that was organized. So that's what people are using today, the Haitian Creole stuff. They're using completely, we had way better data, heavily curated. 3 native speakers, and me and I, speak and read and write fluently Creole back then, and worked with the 3 native speakers. Well, we had 4 or 5 to start with, but then I narrowed it down to 3 that were the best. And we had meetings, we had terminology meetings, we had weekly meetings debating stuff. And that was only one language. I was working 3 languages. I had a laboratory of several languages, and I was training all how to be translators. Training native speakers how to be translators and translation processes for creating training data for MT systems. And that training data is key. Annotated data is key. And one of the big problems we have in this industry is we don't have annotated data. We just don't have it. I worked in telecom, right? Telecom data. That's unannotated. All the call drops, everything about the call, the handshake, the call, the duration, the antenna, the card, the server card that's managing the configuration, everything is all tracked, monitored, right? So that's data. It's all the metadata. It's all there. It's all annotated automatically by the systems, by the fault and configuration management systems, right? I mean, I used to work on this too. But the problem in our field is all our language data that we have is unannotated. Some of it is kind of annotated, but nothing's close to like the stuff I've worked in other fields, right? And I want to kind of jump over to another kind of analogy to the topic, why this training data is key and why it's important to have it. Over the past several years, I've kind of focused on subtitles, captions, subtitles, what do you want to call these things? Speech to text, basically. Monolingual. Lots of meetings, divisional meetings, executive meetings, big, town halls, or what do you want to call these things? And the key thing was I had 7,000 minutes of post-edited monolingual data that I did. It was all annotated because I specified all the stuff you want to know about those sessions, the speakers, the language they came from, the speed of the each speaker, number of word, everything. I annotated everything. And that made it very precious data to do kind of data mining on, to be able to kind of categorize and deal with it. And then to do some really cool stuff of business entity recognition. So this is all, I don't want to go into all how I've done things, right? But I want to say I've done it. And the training data was all key. The data was key to be able to do all this stuff. And the problem that we have, all of our translation memories, well, translation memories, few people annotate their data, very few. Because they're trying to do the translation too quickly and they're not annotating it. I know this. I've been out, and then I've collected databases when I was in sales, right? Collected when I was selling translation. Try to get the TMs, if you can get the TMs. When you get it, it's got no date, it's got no annotation. Okay, customer stuff. If they've got the TMs. And then people that are doing web scraping, you're not getting much. Well, you might get some stuff off the SEO stuff, or some of the untranslatable markup. You might get some stuff out of that, but that isn't helpful. So the majority of data that is collected for training MT is not annotated stuff. So it's really hard to use compared to the stuff that I did, right? And so I think this is why, like, the LDC exists, Language Data Consortium, and LRA, and other, and then a lot of different suppliers that create data for it, like Appen and all those. They annotate their data, right? That takes time, takes a lot of money, lots of money. I've run, I was CTO of ELDA, right? So LRA and ELDA. So I mean, I know what the costs are to set up production, stuff for producing and designing and producing databases for the stuff, language resources. And I've done stuff that's less expensive, right? But sometimes the stuff that we did in the less expensive stuff was better annotated than the stuff we did where there was that we had the funding for. But this, I think, is really important, the training data, and having enough training data to do it. Having the right data categorized, classified, taxonomies, whatever you want to call this stuff, right? And I don't want to go into explaining how I did any other stuff in specific annotations, which was pretty advanced for back when I was doing it. And that's what made our system really work well at Carnegie Mellon, because it was really good the way we did it. But I don't think I've ever worked on a project since that was so well done. And I was multilingual. Haitian Creole I'm known for, but we were doing other languages. We were doing Korean and Croatian and Bosnian too, and other languages too. So we just didn't talk. Oh, we did papers on it, but we never gave it away for whatever reasons. But I think this is doing it right, the data, and getting data. And that's the biggest challenge, getting the data. Like I said, I've been out there selling translation services and solutions, and getting the data is the hardest thing. You got to walk those halls with a suit on. Spend a few years with a suit every day, making cold calls, going down, big customers, and trying to get the data. That's hard. And then we get it, it's crap. It's just real crap. Or it's PDFs. Back then it was like, this is PDF. I said, that's not source data. So you throw it out and start all over again, right? And then when you start all over again, you can't. I never planned into the creating of the 3 TMs when I was selling the quotes to actually annotate the data, because that's what I do when I do other more in-depth research projects or databases for big funded projects, right? But TMs never put that added into, right? So not my quotes. So this is all key, and I think the training data is the key element, or one of the key elements. I'll say that. Can't say it 25 times here. Again, I'm sorry I'm coughing, but I've had a bronchitis for a week, and so that's kind of how it is. But I need to do these videos or I'm going to forget them. I won't get them done. So got to do it now, and it's good to do a couple few videos today and get it done. So while it's fresh in my mind. So thanks for, hope the comments help out. Thanks.